What is going on, everyone? James Livingston here, back at it again, bringing you guys another video regarding the stock market. Today is Friday. Happy Friday to those of you who are watching today. And today we're going to be going over SPY, QQQ, IWM, the main ones we typically go over, get you guys ready for the market here. Last day of a very successful week. Everything has been kind of playing out to a T, which is just super exciting, and you always love when that happens as a trader. But jumping into it right away here on SPY, I've still got kind of the looks that I was looking at yesterday for what I thought could have happened. Like I was saying on Wednesday with CPI, CPI days tend to not be the actual move days. They tend to kind of chop around a little bit more. But PPI days are usually, from the last couple that I've seen, have been the ones where you actually get the moves. And we got just that yesterday. We got the meltdown, got the push right through the support at 595 on SPY, and pushed all the way down to overnight a low of just under 590. Currently trading at about 591. So overall, from the 597s, 598 almost, just an absolute meltdown. Even if you caught the breakdown of 595, you still made good money on this trade from yesterday. So overall, if you took puts on SPY, if you took puts on QQQ, kudos to you. You are making some money right now. But like we were saying, overall, the levels are holding up exactly where we want them to be. We had that overnight resistance from the election day into... Or sorry, I don't think that was the election day, actually. Yeah, no, this was. Yeah, we had the overnight resistance from election day that turned into a support. Now we are bouncing from that area. It's lining up very nicely with the 200 EMA here on the hourly time frame, so a larger time frame, and on the 60 EMA on the 4 hour. So a couple of key levels, I would say, for potential bounce. So as of right now, this morning, I'm not necessarily looking at absolute push to the upside, but I am looking at possibly a little gap fill back into the overnight gap, also maybe a little bit higher back up into that 592 593 area, maybe even a touch higher. If we can come up and retest that 595, I think that would be the most ideal for sellers to then take back over and continue this down, but we'll see what the market gives us here this morning. So overall, looking at SPY, obviously in a downtrend right now, so sells are looking more and more enticing, but we need to also identify and understand that on the weekly, on the daily, on the 4 hour, we are still in an uptrend. We're still trending above our EMAs. We're still in the right direction to continue moving up. The only one that's starting to teeter right now is the 4 hour. Other than that, daily wise, we are still very much above our 20 EMA, holding that longer term trend in check. So we need to know that while we are looking for sells at the moment, as soon as we start to see some key levels flip, we need to switch our bias back to buys. So as of right now, level that I'm watching for push to the upside right now is about that 592.60s to 593. So basically, there's not a set level right here, but generally this spot right here is where I'm looking for a break. It's going to line up nicely with our 15-minute 60, which I think will give us leeway up to the 15-minute 200, which seems like at this point it's going to be around 594.5, 595-ish. So this area right here is what I'm looking at to break. Specific levels, I mean, again, it's hard to put a specific level on it, but I would say 593 is probably where we're looking to watch for those buys. Now, obviously, if you don't want to wait that long, there's an opportunity down here for a break above the 20 EMA. So break above this level we have at 591, 591.10. If we can break above that, I think we can take a nice trip over 592s, maybe up to 593, and then then using that plan of 593 break and up. Downside wise, we are looking for that pre-market breakdown of the 589.85, 590 level to potentially see, again, zooming out here on the 4 hour, these lows just before the gap to the bottom at about 585.50, 586. I think that there is a good chance that this can still get pushed here today. I don't think we necessarily need a relief bounce, as we've had consistent push days. I wouldn't be surprised to have consistent push down days. But as of right now, the only other thing to watch out for today specifically is it is OPEX. Every third week of every month, you do have an OPEX day. It's essentially where all of the options, or a lot of the open interest for the options, expires. So the market tends to manipulate a little bit more, tends to, burn both positions, which can essentially equate to just chop action. We did get a nice push down day yesterday, so it would make sense to continue down and get another strong push down candle. But with OPEX, they could stall it for today, make that move on Monday. So just something to keep in mind. Mondays and Fridays I typically size down myself, and I would suggest on a day like today that if you see green, you take green, because they can chop you around pretty hard. We can get some pretty wild wicks, so just be careful there. But yeah, those are the levels for the upside and downside. Right here we got QQQ. Sorry, I keep swallowing. We got QQQ right here. Again, following the levels to a T, broke down underneath that 511, 510. That gave us way down all the way to 505. We're currently sitting at. Did get a little bit of a bounce off that 504.30 area. And now we're starting to see a little bit of bounce action on the 4 hour. Hourly is showing us a little bit something different here. But overall, we do have that overnight gap there. So what I'm looking at here on QQQ, very similar situation and setup to SPY. I'm be looking for that 20 EMA to break out, which is about 505.70. Break that, can take out the overnight gap that we just got up to, looks like about 506.40. So you can get a nice little 70-80 cent move off that. And then from there, the next level that we really need to break in order to see more upside is going to be 507.50. 507.50 should give us way back up to the 510 psychological level, and then again from there we could see continuation back down. Downside wise, 504 really looks like that nice level to the downside, that low of pre-market. I think 504 gives us way down to 503, and then most likely down to the $500 level at that point, which is just before that gap fill down here from the elections. So lots of levels, lots of opportunity right now. We're breaking out of the range, which means we're going to get a couple more opportunities for bounces, for rejections, etc. So just playing this out. But again, keep in mind today is a different kind of day with OPEX, so don't get caught necessarily. So I don't want to delete these drawings, but I do want to get rid of some of these lines here. The downtrend, we're obviously in a very hefty downtrend. We identified yesterday that we would potentially see an a head and shoulders pattern play out. Saw the shoulder here, saw the head. Looks like the other shoulder formed right here Wednesday on CPI day, and then PPI day broke the neckline. So logically, the next step for me in this case is that we need to retest the neckline before we continue down. I do believe at this point this is starting to look like this wants to fully fill this gap from the daily, but again, I do believe that there's opportunity up here for a better short entry rather than down here. So that's what I'm looking at there. I think a pop back up is likely and what I'm watching for personally. So 30-minute time frame. Sorry, 15-minute time frame. Looking at some levels here. We are over the 20 EMA on this one, so I wouldn't use that one necessarily as our break level. I think at this point, I'm watching right around 232.60. 232.60 lines up nicely with that 60. It also peaks over this little consolidation range, gives us an opportunity back up at least to this little liquidity spot here at about 233 to 233.30. But I think more likely that would push us up towards this 235 level, which was the breakdown of the neckline on that head and shoulders, which is ideally for this setup to play out exactly where I want us to go. Downside, obviously 230.72, 230.70 is going to be that spot for me. Watching for the breakdown to continue. If it breaks down like that, like I said, we still have all this gap here that we're filling all the way down to about 226.70. So that would be the ideal target off of a break of that 230.70, would be down into the upper 220s, mainly like 227, 226.70. All right, so that is the ETF. So let's hop on over to our favorite Tesla over here. So Tesla, overnight, looks like we did get that pull down to just about $300 psychological level. I was telling everyone yesterday in the Discord that, Tesla, while it could have bounced right in here, which I think if you look in, it did get a bounce in this 317, 316 area. We talked about this in yesterday's video, that this zone could potentially get tested, get a brief bounce off of it before we go down and retest the psychological 300 level. So we haven't quite gotten to 300. We're at about 302.70 on the bottom end of this. So I think this has room for at least a liquidity grab down to that $300 zone. But, at the same time, we are pushing up already. We'll see how strong this starts pushing into market open. If we start to reclaim levels like this one up here at 323, then we could potentially see this reversing back to the upside. And at that point, I would start to look at some longs, some calls up towards, 350, 360 to play it towards this top up here. So just kind of an idea here heading into today / Monday, Tuesday. We could potentially see a reversal off of this downside area. If it doesn't want to fully test 300, I think there's opportunity at 302.70. It's pretty dang close that this could be bouncing. But anyways, we do have, the trend line that I was eyeing out. So we're going to probably push on that right at open. Again, we have that 30-minute 200 EMA right there as well. So there is room for rejection here still. So I would not look at this one for upside, honestly, until we break back above 323. 323 is really that level for me that if we can get above it, we can probably see this thing reverse back up. Until then, I'm looking at sells, and I'm looking at sell entries down here at about 308. I think 308 can give us down to the 302s, maybe 300 again. And yeah. So got 323 for the upside, 308 for the downside. Those would be my kind of levels here for this morning, for here Friday, November 15th. And last but not least, we're going to go over NVIDIA, everyone's favorite stock here. So daily wise, very choppy, kind of seems like it's forming somewhat of a top. If we go on the 4-hour time frame, looking a little closer, you can see that the sellers have already started to invalidate this inverse head and shoulders that we were watching for here. So we had shoulder, we had head, and then we had the other shoulder. We had it all formed out, but as of right now, the sellers seem to be invalidating it, wanting to take it lower. 146 is really that level that I was watching for, but it seems like they've made it even more clear now that around 145.60 is that spot that if we break below, we're probably likely to head back down to at least 143.50, that low from the from Tuesday, and then so on and so forth down. So that's what I'm watching for there. As far as actual levels to watch, like I said, we've got that low end level at about 145.60. That's what I'm watching for downside. If they want to reverse this and get that inverse head and shoulder back in play, we would need a pretty strong push candle here this morning, right out the gate. And I would like to see it push up over this 147. I think it was 147.25 was the level I was watching yesterday. I think that's still valid at 147.25. If we break above, then I believe we can get a chance at 149.60 again, and 150 plus. So that is what I'm looking at on NVIDIA. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Like I said, today is OPEX day, so be sure to size down. We also have U.S. retail sales at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, business inventories at 10 a.m., and it looks like import price index is also at 8:30. So a couple little market moving data pieces to watch out for. Definitely keep an eye out for those, and obviously, play it safe today. These are those expirations that are just not fun to deal with. So just be careful there, but obviously, leave a like, comment down below, let me know what you guys think, subscribe if you are new, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.